Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. I thought I would mix this one in here while I'm continuing to wrap up your aliens and UFO suggestions. Normally I would have held this one off until the actual playlist comes around for that series, but I just saw this today and I immediately wanted to share it here because of one fact. Apparently, this is a cryptid/humanoid figure that is found here in the Austin, Texas area. That's right, my hometown. I had no idea that there was this type of creature that's been seen apparently multiple times, and this encounter is a very recent one too. So it gives me an idea that maybe, just maybe, there's a good chance to go do some cryptid hunting here in the Austin, Texas area. But definitely some good stuff to share. It comes from the website phantomsandmonsters.com, and it has to do again with an encounter here in the Austin, Texas area, and the title of it is Winged Humanoid Sighting Reported in Austin, Texas. So let's go ahead and let's share that here, and then I'll give my own thoughts and opinions on it, including the possibility of again going on some kind of cryptid hunt later on, at least if I could find more information on this particular creature, whatever it is. So here's what this anonymous user stated when it comes to their encounter. In early 2019, one of my older cousins and I were standing outside of my house here in Austin, Texas. He was having a cigarette. It was about 9 p.m. and we'd pretty much run out of things to talk about. I opted for just looking into the night sky and gazing for the Big Dipper, it being the only star I could typically spot right away. As I'm looking up, I notice a dark silhouette about 10 feet from the top of my house. I live in a 2-story home, so 10 feet from my roof is pretty high up, but yet still close enough for me to still see. I could vividly see that it was the shape of a human-like being flying from above my home and over across the street and out of sight. It moved smoothly across the sky, not too fast, but just at a glide. I stared in disbelief, unable to speak. Long after it vanished behind my neighbor's home, I still looked in its direction, trying to understand what just happened. When I finally was able to gather my thoughts enough to talk, I turned to my cousin, who was also looking into the sky, and said, "Let's go inside." He put out his cigarette, and we both walked into the house and then sat in silence for about 5 to 10 minutes. The silence was broken by the sound of my cousin taking in a deep breath before asking me, "Did you see something flying outside?" Before he could finish, I burst out into rapid sentences about what I saw, and before I knew it, we were both going back and forth, barely letting either get a word out. We decided that what we saw was real, and it really did happen. That's not the most frightening part, though. Several weeks later, I stumbled across a TV show on Destination America entitled Monsters and Mysteries in America. The episode I watched turned out to be based on sightings in Austin, Texas. I couldn't believe it. The episode was about flying humanoids being spotted here in the city. It confirmed for me that what I saw was actually real, and I hadn't been one of the only ones who spotted it. I still look to the sky on most nights. I know that they're still out there. Then that's it. That's everything that this user left with their encounter. Anonymous user, the only indication just being the letter C when it comes to their name. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that brief encounter here. First off, again, I'm surprised. I have never really heard of any strong cryptid or other type of monsters or humanoid sightings here in the Austin area. Closest that I've heard about as any phenomenon is more along the lines of ghosts. Several good places that you could do ghost hunting here in Austin. They're not really favored, like when it comes to those places, not like other towns and cities where it's something where they're more welcome to that stuff. No, here Austin is more along the lines of bars and music and parties, and if you happen to have anything as far as ghosts or even cryptids and other type of monsters, they're kind of looked at like in a strange way. Like if you're talking about that stuff in those places, then you're probably, talking about the wrong thing. So interesting again that this has happened here, apparently multiple occasions. And as you can tell by the date, 2019, somewhat pretty recent there too. I'm going to have to look more into that phenomenon to see what the other sightings were, especially when it comes to two factors. One, being the timeline associated with them, how again recent or going back into the past these particular encounters were, and then also the type of sightings, the locations that they're at. Because alas, one of the big things I hated about reading this encounter was no places to talk about, like no location. Was it South Austin? Was it North Austin? Was it downtown? Was it more along the lines on the east or west? Anything at all. If there was even a name of a street that would give me something to use as a basis to be able to do some cryptid hunting. But alas, nothing else. The only indication we have is the fact that here you have a two-story house, which is nothing. Like there's so many places here in Austin that have two-story homes. I mean, there's no place at all to be able to do that. And the only other indication is that the Big Dipper is the only one visible during the night sky. Again, nothing really, because most of Austin is lit up like a, like a firecracker at night when there's so much light. So anywhere in Austin, pretty much the only thing you'll be seeing is the Big Dipper, and that's if you're even lucky when it comes to that. So I wish there was more stuff here, but let's talk about the actual cryptid itself. Apparently, this was a human-like being that was almost hovering above the home, above this guy's two-story home. It was again about 10 feet out top of the house itself. And then the way that the user saw this creature move from across the sky was almost like a glide. Like it was moving, but it was moving in a very smooth manner. Clearly, like this was something that it was used to and did so quite well, to the point that it wasn't alarmed with the user apparently seeing what it was, and instead just moved out of sight across the yards over to the next neighbor's area, out of basically going across some homes, the skyline of some homes, never to really be seen again. But the fact that it was there hovering above the home also indicates that it was almost spying on whoever was there, like in this case the user and the cousin, as they were just nonchalantly enjoying some night watching out there in that particular time period. And it was doing so pretty stealthily, because if but for the fact that the user themselves were just happened to be looking up towards the Big Dipper, this thing could have easily just stared at them for the longest time ever and probably not have been detected, not unless there was that sixth sense that kicks in when you realize that something is watching you from somewhere, and then you suddenly turn in that particular direction. But yeah, unfortunately, not too much details as far as the location of this creature, whatever it is, and not too much detail still about what it looked like other than what was given here. But I'm excited. This is good stuff. This is finally something when it comes to the world of cryptids that we can talk about here in the Austin area. And I'm going to see if I can again find more evidence about where these encounters are. And if so, you might finally see me do a live stream when it comes to some cryptid hunts. And then that way I can try to see where this creature could be. But anyways, just wanted to present this here. Let me know what your thoughts are. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.